One play, real NFL game, real crowd, real pads. You get one carry, gain 1 yard, you win $1 million. Lose yards, you get nothing. And the defense has one simple instruction: hit the ball. So here's the question that keeps looping in my head. Can an average person gain 1 yard in the NFL? Because 1 yard sounds harmless. 3 feet. A long step. Something you could cover in your kitchen without thinking. But in the NFL, 1 yard is not distance. It is conflict. It is timing. It is violence compressed into a space the size of a closet. And I do not want to answer this with pride or internet confidence. I want to answer it with reaction time, speed, physics, and real game situations. Those who are not subscribers, imagine your first carry comes on 3rd and 1. No easing into the game. No practice rep. The entire stadium knows you are the weakest player on the field. The linebacker across from you knows it even more. No tricks, no sympathy, no friendly whistle either. Just impact waiting to happen. Let us start with the simplest truth. Even real NFL running backs fail to gain 1 yard all the time. In the 2019 season, about 12% of running plays lost yards. Another 9% gained 0. That means roughly 1 out of every 5 rushing attempts failed to gain even a single yard. And that is with elite athletes, perfect timing, and professional blocking. So before we even place you in the backfield, the baseline is already harsh. Football is hard even for the best humans alive. Now replace that running back with an average person. The question stops being about effort. It becomes about biology. Can your brain even start fast enough? Reaction time is the first real barrier. Most people react to a visual signal in about 0.2 to 0.3 of a second. Professional athletes often react closer to 16 to 21 hundredths. The difference sounds tiny. 5 to 10 hundredths of a second. Blink and you miss it territory. But football lives inside tiny margins. Top ball carriers in the NFL reach about 21 to 22 miles per hour. That translates to roughly 10.5 yards every second. So 1/10 of a second equals about 1 full yard of movement. Think about that. If a defender processes the play just 1/10 faster than you, he has already erased the yard you were hoping to gain before your first real step finishes. And that is just laboratory reaction time. Real defenders do not wait to react. They anticipate. They study formations. They read the guard's first twitch. They lean toward the gap before the snap even happens. In real life, they are moving before your brain even says go. Maybe you are thinking, I do not need to outrun anyone. I only need 1 yard. I will just fall forward. That sounds logical. Until you look at the clock. An average NFL play lasts about 4 seconds from snap to whistle. But an inside run is decided much earlier. The handoff usually happens about 1 to 1.5 seconds after the snap. Serious contact often arrives before the 2-second mark. So your $1 million opportunity lives inside a window shorter than a deep breath. Now, let us talk about speed, because this is where fantasy collapses. An average NFL linebacker stands around 6'1", weighs about 240 pounds, and runs 40 yards in roughly 4.7 seconds. More important is the first 10 yards, around 1.6 seconds. That first burst is everything. A healthy but untrained adult usually tops out between 12 and 15 miles per hour in a straight sprint. That is without pads, without a football, without 300-pound linemen falling into your legs. And your first step in an NFL run is not a clean sprint. It is chaos. Bodies colliding, feet tangling, balance disappearing. If you lose balance once, the play is over. Not slowed down. Over. Now picture where the linebacker begins. 3 to 4 yards away. If he Reds run instantly, he crosses that space in about half a second to maybe 7/10. In that same moment, you are still trying to secure the handoff and figure out where the hole is supposed to be. You are thinking, he is already arriving. Let us ground this in a real short yardage scenario. Here are 2 real reminders of what 1 yard does to grown men. In Philadelphia, the Eagles basically turned 4th and 1 into a business plan with that quarterback sneak push. Everyone in the stadium knows it is coming, and teams still struggle to stop it because the line fires out low and the pile moves like a single body. And in Super Bowl 34, the Tennessee Titans' last play ends with Kevin Dyson tackled 1 yard short of the goal line as time expires. A title decided by 3 feet. So yeah, 1 yard sounds small. The league treats it like life or death. Watch almost any 4th and 1 in the NFL. The defense crowds the line. Gaps disappear. Helmets crash low. Even elite backs sometimes get driven backward before they take 2 steps. There are famous examples where entire playoff games swing on half a yard. Super Bowl moments decided by a single surge at the line. Not because the runner was weak, but because 11 defenders moved perfectly at the same time. That is the environment you are entering. One more layer before impact. Short yardage defense is different. Corners crash. Safeties step down. Linebackers creep until they are basically on the line. Nobody respects the pass for a split second because they are betting you cannot punish them. So the space you think exists does not exist. Not on 3rd and 1. Not when everybody is selling out. And we have not even talked about impact yet. A standard NFL tackle can produce forces in the range of 1,500 to 1,700 pounds. Not every hit reaches that number, but it shows the scale. To make that relatable, imagine a heavy refrigerator falling into you while someone shoves you from behind. And the hit feels worse than the number suggests. Think of getting rear-ended at 20 miles per hour when you are not braced. Your head snaps. Your ribs feel the belt. Now replace the car with a 240-pound linebacker who knows how to strike through your hips. NFL players survive because they train their necks, cores, and balance for years. They expect contact. They know how to roll with it. An average person does not. So the first clean hit does not slow you down. It ends the play immediately. And even if the first defender slips, pursuit arrives fast. Safety's close at more than 20 miles per hour. At that speed, 3 yards disappear in about 1/3 of a second. So hesitation equals capture. Every time. Quick mid-video check. This is the point where people say, I only need a yard, I will be fine. But the NFL does not care about your plan. It cares about your first 2 steps. If your first 2 steps are late, the gap closes. If they are wide, you trip. If they are high, you get blown up. And you do not get a redo because the whistle comes fast. So keep the $1 million in your mind. Now walk into the tree. Now let us build real tension with the probability tree, step by step. Before step 1, there's a step 0. You line up and pretend you belong while a 300-pound tackle stares at your ribs. The quarterback barks cadence. Your hands already expect the punch out. Step 1, the exchange. If the ball lands high or low, your fingers panic and you clamp late. Step 2, Your feet. NFL backs take 2 tight steps, then explode. You take 2 steps and your base opens because you are guessing. Step 3. The choice. You pick a shoulder to follow. Pick wrong and you run into your own blocker. Step 4. First contact. A bad tackle still works if it stops your legs. And once your legs stop, the play is finished. One mistake. No yard. First, the handoff. Quarterbacks and running backs who practice thousands of reps still fumble occasionally. You have 0 live reps. Ball security alone is a real failure point. Second, choosing the gap. Professional backs read leverage instantly. You see confusion. Confusion equals delay. Delay equals contact in the backfield. Third, surviving the first hit. You do not need to break a tackle, you just need to stay upright against a 200+ pound defender moving at full speed. Fourth, finishing forward. Even missed tackles become arm grabs, shoves, or second hits. Momentum disappears fast in tight space. Every step must succeed. One mistake kills the entire play. And here's the mid-story twist that really matters. We keep talking about 1 yard like it is tiny, but in real NFL short yardage film, that final yard is usually the hardest distance on the field. Goal line stands. Quarterback sneaks stopped inches short. Running backs piled up with the ball stretched forward and still denied. If elite professionals fail this often, what are the real odds for someone untrained? This is where tension peaks. Because emotionally, you want the answer to be yes. You want effort to matter. You want courage to count. But physics does not care about courage. So what is the honest answer? On a true, full-speed NFL rushing play, the probability of an average person gaining 1 yard is so close to 0 that it is reasonable to treat it as 0. Not because you are weak, because the sport is brutally precise. Could rare edge cases exist? Sure. If the offensive line creates a perfect push and you are carried forward by the pile. If defenders collide and miss entirely. If a whistle slows everyone down for a penalty. But notice the pattern. Those are not victories by you. They are mistakes by the defense. So realistically, the odds might be 1 in many thousands. Maybe worse. And this changed how I watch football completely. Because every routine 2-yard run suddenly looks different. It is not boring. It is dozens of tiny calculations aligning perfectly for half a second. Timing, angles, force, balance, all synchronized. So if someone casually asks whether they could gain 1 yard in the NFL, the better question is simple. Would you risk your ribs on a 1/10 of a second? And before we jump to baseball, let me build the ending the right way. A 2-yard run on TV looks boring because the camera is calm. On the field, it is a sprint inside chaos. It is 11 guys hitting landmarks on time. It is a runner reading leverage in a blink. It is a defender arriving a fraction late. It is a body staying upright while someone tries to take your legs. So when you ask, could I get 1 yard? You are really asking if you can do a job where even elite running backs fail 1 out of every 5 carries. That is why my answer stays the same. The yard is not small. It is rare. Because next time, the challenge gets even harder. Forget gaining 1 yard on grass. Try touching a 95-mile-per-hour fastball traveling from 60 feet away. And then the real question becomes even scarier. Could a normal person hit one even once?